You're listening to Bizarre Buffet, a podcast of all-you-can-eat weird. I'm your host, Mark Torriello.
I'm Jen Wilson.
And I'm Mark Bluestein.
There'll be food and drink and ghosts, and perhaps even a few murders. You're all invited.
When we first went in, one of the people said, "Who are you?" And Tex said, "I'm the devil, and I'm here to do the devil's business."
Hello.
Hey.
Hi.
Hello,
Hello, hello.
We're here.
Yes, you're listening to the rebranded podcast called Hello.
Hello, hello, hello.
Bizarre hello.
Bizarre Hello.
Hello buffet.
Hello buffet.
I like that better.
Bonjour buffet.
Ni hao buffet.
Yes.
Hola buffet.
Hola.
Guten Tag buffet.
Oh, guten Tagen.
Ciao.
Ciao.
Buffet.
Yes.
Shalom buffet.
Shalom buffet.
Well, I have to say, it's so nice again to be seeing you both at a round table as opposed to our rectangular table.
I know, where we sat in a line like we were eating. Like we were eating at, like, I don't know, the Prayer TV channel. Where you're
But
just,
like, our old setup was kind of like a buffet setup.
Like the Last
It was just like a
Supper.
long...
yeah, the Last
Last
Supper.
Supper.
We're just at the eternal Last Supper, all of us.
So I just want to share a funny story.
Oh my God, you should. Because you know what? We're going to
Because-
do this one more loosey-goosey. We have a surprise for all of you.
So Mark Bluestein was editing our last episode.
Yeah, I was.
And
It's
Mark-
out right now.
It is. And Mark Torriello and I were sitting and we were chatting. This is literally the best thing. I'm sorry. I don't mean to throw you underneath the bus with
I
this
know where
one,
this
Mark.
is going.
So,
Bish.
so we're talking just about travel, and I told him that I booked a trip to Spain at the end of August.
Yes.
And we were talking about the weather, and I said, well, we're going to be in Barcelona, and you actually can take a ferry to Morocco.
Yeah.
And he was like, where's Morocco? And I said, it's in Africa. And he goes, oh, I thought Morocco was in France.
Oh.
And I still do.
And
It's
he
in
was-
France,
and then proceeded to ask me where Marrakesh was. And I said, it's in Morocco, which is in Africa, at
that
the
the
tip of
capital?
Africa.
Well, like, here's my logic. So I used to work for a French brand called Yves Saint Laurent, and Yves Saint Laurent was very much inspired by Morocco, and when he died, they scattered his ashes in Marrakesh. And I was like, oh, well, he was so French, and he was always in France, Paris, France, doing
Oh,
his
I
design
see.
stuff. Like,
I get
It was
it.
probably close by.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I see that.
No.
I see the. Yeah. No. That's the funniest follow-up ever.
So,
Well, okay, so we're going to get a little weird.
so we want to let our listeners know that Mark Torriello and I do not know what this episode
No.
is about at
No.
all. We don't even know what the question is.
Yeah, they have no idea.
We know nothing. So
Yeah. It could be anything.
it could be. And I'm
be so.
ready to take my improv pants and put them on.
Oh my God.
And
I can't wait.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So, I mean, I guess I'll start off by saying, like, now I kind of know, like, Mark's a roundabout answer to this, but I'm going to ask both of you anyway. How much importance do you put into, like, astrology? Like, how much of it is, like, influential or that you follow?
I mean, I read my horoscope daily.
Okay.
But I don't, as a yoga instructor, as my many jobs that I have, I don't like really follow it like some people do, where, you know, on the new moon and the full moon, they have to cleanse their crystals
Oh,
and,
yes. I do that all the time.
you know, write their intentions for the new moon and then burn them. Like shit like that. Like I definitely read my horoscope. And I also am the type of person, if I am dating somebody or am talking to somebody, I will find out when their birthday is and I will see what their sign is to see the compatibility.
Okay.
Because I am a firm believer in like zodiac,
Like,
like
partners being
Partners.
compatible
Yeah.
according to the signs. Okay.
because like they tell you that, you should not, like, Scorpios and Aquarius in a relationship are like no. And
Yeah.
I dated an Aquarius and it was a no.
Oh, so that was confirmation for you, and you're like, okay, I don't need to try this again. I get it.
Exactly.
I got it.
And like they actually say that Scorpios and Pisces are the most compatible, and a lot of people in my life that I have really strong connections with are Pisces.
Interesting.
Yeah, like not romantically, like friends and coworkers and
Just like people in your life.
just people in my life.
Okay.
But I don't really dissect it, as you
Okay.
would say.
So it plays like enough of a role, but it's
Yeah.
not like something where, you consult the astrological signs for every single thing.
It's not like, oh my God, my horoscope is saying that I'm going to have a bad day, so I stay home. I had a friend in college that she would read her horoscope, and if it was not a good horoscope, she would stay home. Like, she would lock herself in her apartment.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is commitment to the sun.
That's
the
dedication.
stars, the science.
What about you, Mark?
Well, I believe in the signs. I think a lot of people can identify and relate to their signs, but I also don't think it's always accurate.
No. Oh my God.
For me personally, I'm a Cancer sign, and I'm pretty much a textbook Cancer.
He is, I can confirm.
And I like to say that I'm like a Cancer oracle, because I'm like a Cancer with Cancer rising. And
See, but that's the other thing. I don't know my rising sign. Like,
Yeah.
and that plays into, like, you need to know exactly what time you were born.
Yeah. We're going to have to consult Phyllis.
Yeah, we'll have to consult Phyllis on that one, but I don't go that far into
Right.
my zodiac sign.
I don't either with the rising and the non-rising, but I just know that, like, I'm the Cancer sign flagship. And I don't know, I think a lot of people can relate to it. In terms of horoscopes, I think they're very broad, so if you want to believe it, it's easy to believe it.
Oh, yeah.
However, a few days ago, I did read my horoscope for fun, and it said that I was going to get a promotion or some sort of, professional development. I just got a new job.
Yeah.
Like a month ago.
You read into it how you want to.
Yeah, and I was like, well, bullshit. I literally just started working here a
Yeah.
month ago. And then I found out that my management role now got a little more elevated, and I'm like the visual merchandising point person.
That's great.
Which comes like a little economic.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's like a
I was like,
perfect
whoa.
example. Like he was saying, he was like, there's no way how I just started this job.
Right.
Yeah.
And so there's an example of
the three of us have a mutual friend who is very, I'm a Scorpio. This is a Scorpio thing. Like,
Yeah.
oh, because I'm a Scorpio. And I'm like, no, that's just who you are as a person. Because I'm a Scorpio too, and I'm not like that.
Yeah, well, and I will say, and I guess this can kind of like be my little interpretation of it. So I've always, for as long as I can remember, I've never identified with the typical common features of an Aquarius, which is
Right.
what I am. But Angela, hi Angela.
Hey, Angela.
She did a birth chart for me, and kind of like what you were talking about to find out your rising sign,
Yeah.
all of that. And, it turns out that out of all of the things, like the way I can put it in, I don't know, layman's terms for me, a layman, is that outwardly people think I'm an Aquarius with like perception, like, oh, your personality, but everything else, because of my like rising and moon or whatever it is Capricorn.
Okay.
So, and that's something where I was like, oh shit, that makes sense. I could actually do something with that.
Yeah, I like Capricorns.
Yeah.
I normally hate Aquarius or Aquarians or Aquariuses.
Me too.
Aquarii.
Aquarii.
I had a really bad falling out with a friend who was an Aquarius.
Oh, well, they're mostly terrible.
Yeah.
They're pretty shitty people.
I don't like Aquarius, and
I'm sorry,
I don't
Aquarians. Oops.
I'm not a fan of Leos either, and Libras.
No comment.
Libras are like
I mean, and that's the thing.
Holier.
Like now, like what Mark's talking about. I don't know much about other signs except my own.
Yeah,
Like, there's
yeah.
people who know everything about every freaking sign.
Yeah, and I mean, and don't you love whenever like you have the discussion of it that the person on the receiving end is like, so are you into astrology?
Are you into butt plugs?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my God.
But like that's always what it's followed up with. Like for some reason, either people expect you to be like all in or not. But
Yeah.
like, you know, it's kind of like almost an obsessive thing, one could say.
Well, I always say if I ask someone like what their sign is, it's just like an icebreaker. I'm not like trying to read your fortune.
Right.
But I hate when people are like, I don't follow that stuff. And I'm
Yeah,
just
like it's an
bring
affront.
a book.
Well, Jesus doesn't like
Yeah,
that.
sorry. Go back to
Exactly.
your Bible.
Well, I mean, I don't know if you all have picked up on anything that I want to talk about with everyone, but so you all know of the famous serial killer murderer based out of San Francisco in like the 60s was a Zodiac killer.
Yes.
But did you know that right here on the East Coast we had our very own Zodiac killer?
No, that I
know.
did not.
Wow.
Yeah, we did.
No.
Yeah, based out of New York.
So completely unrelated to the Zodiac.
Absolutely unrelated, but when these crimes started occurring, everyone had thought that it could be connected because the Zodiac killer from San Francisco was never caught.
Right.
We still don't know who he is. There's
Did
still,
you ever see? Did you
yeah,
ever
or
see
yeah,
the?
absolutely.
Did you ever see the David Fincher film Zodiac?
With Jake Gyllenhaal.
Jake Gyllenhaal,
Yes.
Mark Ruffalo. Oh, somebody else really good was in it too.
Yeah, what Robert Downey Jr.
Yes, Robert Downey
Yeah.
Jr. That was a really good
Yeah.
film.
Yeah, I like that one a lot.
I also just am a huge fan of David Fincher. I love his films.
Yeah,
I love everything he touches.
Yeah.
I like Robert Downey Jr.
Oh yeah.
He can touch me too.
Oh, RDJ and MT.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we'll segue into this. So, as it's been told, a serial killer promised to kill 12 people, one for each astrological sign, and he only killed when certain constellations were visible.
Oh.
Wow.
So, talk about, like, you know, being committed to astrology, right? That's a lot.
What was the time frame of all this?
I believe. Oh God, you're asking me the one question I
Sorry,
didn't
I'm
make a note for. That's okay. I think that it started in March 1990. Actually.
Okay, so it's a little bit more relevant. And
Yeah,
More, okay.
more current. So now, because of the existing Zodiac killer that was never caught, initially they thought that there was a chance, you know, that this could be the same person. And so with that, you know, we'll get into all of that later. But it took a forensic astronomy expert, a handwriting analysis expert, and a World War II code breaker to find out who this guy was.
Well, I could see that with the code, especially.
Because they were thinking along the lines, because he was doing
Was
stuff.
he doing stuff, or they were doing stuff similar to the Zodiac killer in
Yeah.
San Francisco?
Exactly. So
Okay.
they were like, oh shit.
Was this like the Wish version of
yes.
The Wish version of the Zodiac killer.
What I ordered, what
I
Wish sent
actually
me,
got.
kind
I
of.
feel like I would have fun trying to decode these things, though,
Oh my
because like
God.
I love puzzles.
Yeah, it's fascinating. I mean, what they recently deciphered the other Zodiac killers thing recently, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also too, it's like you've seen these in film and television where like there's a serial killer, but then there's another person who idolizes that serial killer, so they try to mimic that serial killer.
Yes, and that's what they were trying to figure out with this case. Like, was this the original Zodiac killer, or was it a copycat?
Okay.
So, in March of 1990, the first victim was Mario Orozco, the first shooting victim who actually survived. He was a Scorpio.
Oh.
All right, so we have
Scorpios.
Scorpio on the board, and keep
Poor
in
thing.
mind, I know 12 signs of the zodiac, so he's got Scorpio right now. So as time goes on, he gets another person, Herman Montenegro, who was a Gemini. All right, so he has his Gemini now, and then Joe Ponchi, who was a Taurus. So he's working his way quickly.
Ain't no one getting a Cancer sign.
No, well,
Because we're the crab, we have claws and a hard shell. So,
oh my God.
Well,
So
we're pretty vicious too. We're scorpions.
yeah.
it's true. And I mean, I don't know what an Aquarian would do, throw a water pitcher at your head.
Probably.
Something like that. But, you know. So, all right. So we're going to fast forward now to like some of when the interaction started happening with police.
Okay.
So, now, in one of his first letters to the police, he references these initial victims as if they were dead. But unbeknownst to him, some had survived the attempts already.
Are some of these people still alive today?
Yeah. Well, I mean, as long as they haven't died of something else, they should be.
Okay.
So he
In
really
theory.
is the Wish version of the Zodiac.
Yeah,
Oh my God. He hasn't killed anyone.
Exactly. He hasn't actually. I think at this point, I think either all of them have survived, or like 2 out of the 3 that he has tried to kill
Okay.
have survived. But he doesn't know this right now. So it was made clear from his letter that he was working his way through the astrological signs with each victim. But the question still remained, like, how did he know his victims' astrological signs before the attacks? Which is really fucking weird.
Well, that's the other thing that I'm thinking is there a relationship to all of these people? Did they all know each other?
Yeah. And I mean,
Like, did all of the victims personally know each other, or
Yeah.
did this killer, this wish killer,
wish.com.
personally know these people that knew their signs?
Yeah, and I mean, I feel like that's what everyone was kind of trying to figure out at the time. Like, what the hell? Because he's got some of the signs already, and they've all been different so far. It hasn't been like 2 Aquarians and like a Scorpio or something, you know, me and Jen.
Hey.
So, like, now at this point, in New York City, the police department is losing their shit pretty much because it becomes a huge manhunt. And during all of this, they realized the Zodiac had made contact with them before, but they didn't notice. So this guy had been out there and he sent a letter to the police, but they just chalked it up to, like, you know, he was crazy. He was a crazy person. They were like, this is just some person who's sending us a weird letter. Nothing's going to come of it, until, you know, all the dots were connected pretty much.
The constellation.
Yes, exactly.
Wow.
The stars.
So in one of the letters from the Zodiac, this is what he wrote. The Zodiac will kill the 12 signs in the belt. When the zodiacal light is seen, Orion is the one that could stop Zodiac and the 7 sisters. So he's sending like these cryptic like messages, you know? So now at this point, an astrologer told the police that the constellations of Orion and the 7 sisters of the Pleiades were not visible on the nights of the shootings. Fucking weird, isn't that? Right? What this is saying is that the Zodiac wouldn't murder when Orion and the 7 sisters were visible in the sky.
Okay.
So he had a whole astrology chart and time frame on his murder agenda, you know?
Wow.
Yeah. Now, of course, you know, the obvious element comparing this Zodiac, of course, is to the more infamous one that we were talking about based out of San Francisco in the 60s. But that's seen as an even bigger problem because the Zodiac, you know, like we were saying, the original was never caught.
But didn't they just like crack something recently about
did.
the original Zodiac killer?
They did. They were able to decipher it, and it was just like a really kind of like, you know, a rambling of a madman type thing.
Yeah, it said something about like drinking more Ovaltine.
Like in a Christmas story.
Yeah.
Be sure to drink your Ovaltine.
Yes, exactly. All right, so now we're here, and from this point, everyone's like, all right, we need a handwriting analysis to compare the 2 Zodiac killers to see if there's any consistencies between the 2 of them. And, you know, when it was all said and done, they came to the conclusion that the 2 Zodiac killers were 2 different people. It's okay, girl. 2 different people, 2 different Zodiacs. But now that that's out of the way, they were faced with the fact that they're dealing with a pretty sophisticated copycat, which is just another shitstorm
Yeah.
in and of itself, isn't it? So I guess we'll get back to the killings at this point, right?
Right. So we have a scorpion. We have a Leo, right?
We had a Scorpio.
We had a Scorpio, a Taurus.
Taurus. I'm sorry, I got Taurus and
And
Leo.
a Gemini.
Okay, so
Good job, Mark.
Thank you.
Scorpio, Taurus,
And Gemini. So,
So you have 9 left.
yeah, we have 9 left. Let's see. Let's see what happens. So, the shootings had taken place at 21 and 63 day intervals, which is, odd.
So there was 21. So in between each shooting, you mean?
Yes. So
Okay.
exactly. So in between each shooting, 21 and 63 day intervals.
Okay.
So, he was going with his methodology, I suppose. But
Going with the stars.
yes. But like in this, it suggested that there were variations of a 3-week cycle. But keep in mind, they happened on nights when the constellations, Orion and the Seven Sisters, weren't visible in the sky. So he's making a very complex, algorithm to his murders. And also he's targeting certain astrological signs. So everybody's
Yeah,
like,
it sounds
oh my
like
God.
it. Yeah.
Is there any significance with this Orion and the Seven Sisters?
I guess the main
I've never heard of that.
Yeah.
before. It sounds like a deep dive into a.
yeah, I think that's a whole other sky. I
Yeah.
only know the Big Dipper, to be honest with you.
Orion is the 3 in a line. It's like a diagonal. Orion's belt.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I remember that from Men in Black,
From
the first one.
oh my God. So, all right. So since we're on this and we're all kind of confused, that makes sense because at this point, the help of an astronomer was enlisted, whose name is Gregory Matloff, and he helped identify the next time the zodiac was likely to strike.
Okay.
So within the 21-day cycle that Orion and the Seven Sisters would not be visible in the sky. So you really need some like heavy hitters in these fields because everybody's like, he's using stars and the moon and the sky and the, Now, Matloff...
This sounds like a killer from Dexter.
I know, right? It sounds like a Showtime killer, some sort of
Yeah.
But Matloff, who was the astronomer they enlisted, he consulted his astrological charts, and by adjusting the time, the day and location, you can see what is rising and what's setting, I guess, in terms of, the constellations and all of that. Now, Matloff had predicted that the zodiac would strike next on June 21st, which was the summer solstice, or is. Now,
which we just celebrated yesterday.
Exactly. I know we were there.
Full circle.
Oh my God. Wow, what
The
good
longest
timing.
day of the year.
Yes, and that's referenced. So,
Oh, really?
yes. So, oh my God. So now the prediction turned out to be correct. However, the Zodiac switched it up and got his next victim, Larry Parham, who was a homeless man who was sleeping on a bench in Central Park. And at this point, another letter is sent to the police. And of course, the Zodiac somehow knew that his most recent victim was a Cancer
No,
sign.
God damn
I know.
So he somehow
him
knew
all
that
out.
this homeless man,
What'd you say? Yeah.
was a Cancer.
Yes. So now we have Cancer, Gemini,
Taurus,
Taurus,
and Scorpio.
So we're at 4 now. All right.
Damn.
I know. So now, at this point, one of the letters is taken for testing to see if they can recover any fingerprints. And they do. They recover a thumbprint. They compared this print to everyone in their database to like no avail. Nothing came of it. With only one element of forensic evidence and no one being able to ID this guy, it's not looking so great. Now, keep in mind that the Zodiac is making it very clear that the only thing that can and will stop him from killing is the presence of Orion and the Seven Sisters being visible in the sky. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will even distribute your podcast for you, so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. I mean, how cool is that, right? It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. On with the show. Sky, why doesn't anyone pay attention? No. Oh my god. So
God damn it, Orion and your 7 sisters.
I know. They are really just causing some crap to go on, aren't they? Mm-hmm. Now we're gonna get a little deeper into it, because now, you got the Cancer sign. Sorry, Mark.
It's okay.
So from all the correspondence sent by the Zodiac to the police, etc., it was pretty obvious to law enforcement that the killer was following the news headlines about him and the cases.
Like every serial killer does.
Exactly. So he was no different, So when it was published that the police had a fingerprint from the Zodiac, the killings had stopped for about 2 years, which is I don't know. Do killers normally stop when they think they're being led on? Don't they normally get egotistical about it and I'm going to do more?
Maybe.
Yeah.
But he was also only 1/3 of the way through with his mission, so maybe...
Yeah. Maybe he was having a hard time figuring out who were the other signs.
Well, I have a question. So with the shootings, do we know how it was done?
Yes. What type of gun was used and stuff?
Well,
or
was it a drive-by? Did he go up to the person and just shoot them? Did he do it from behind a bush?
It seemed to be sneak attacks. So walking behind somebody.
That's scary.
Yeah. Shooting at the back of them, like a homeless man sleeping on a bench. So people who would not have any awareness that the attack was coming.
So
Right.
there was no chase. It was just
no.
1, 2, 3, boom, and that's it.
And then he was done.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah. So now, all right, so we just said that the killing stopped for about 2 years, but let's get to 1994. I'm going to bring you there right now. Zodiac sent his next letter after a 2-year hiatus, announcing his return. He was like, hey girl, PR release. I'm back. I'm back. I'm just letting you know. I'm back now. I got to get the rest of my signs for my collection. So in this new letter, he claims responsibility for the murder of Patricia Fonte, who is a Leo. So Leo, Cancer, Gemini, Taurus, and Scorpio. Mm-hmm. So, as well as claiming responsibility for the shooting of Joseph Diacone, and Joseph was a Virgo. So he is still making his fucking way
Through
the goddamn signs.
Wow.
Even after this 2-year hiatus, which is okay, you just pick right back up and now you got more. So it was obvious that he was literally just picking up where he left off. Motherfucker, son of a bitch. So now, here we go. The Zodiac's next victim is James Weber, a Libra. He's still doing it, the son of a bitch. He's getting it right.
So now he's at number 7?
I believe so.
We've got Libra. We've got Leo.
I know, we should be writing them down.
We've got Taurus. We've got Cancer. We've got Scorpio.
And Gemini. Are we missing them?
Did I say Taurus?
I wish you guys listening could...
Wait, I think it was... Oh. Wait, so it was a...
Scorpio was the first one.
Scorpio.
Cancer.
Cancer was the 4th.
Okay.
Wait,
Mark's
girl. So it was Scorpio, Gemini, Taurus, Cancer, Leo, Libra.
So we've got 6.
We're 6.
Did you just say Virgo though?
Oh, Virgo was in there.
Yeah, so we've got 7. So we do have 7.
Wow. So see, he's just consulting the stars, clearly.
Oh my goodness.
So now, at this point...
Come on, Orion and your 7 sisters.
I know, motherfucker. So at this point, this bitch, he's super confident. And he's like, I'm never going to be caught, it's fine. But in one of his letters, he made a big mistake. He licked the envelope used for his letter to the police and left saliva on it. And they did DNA testing. Can you believe it?
Whoopsie doodle.
Whoopsie doodle, poodle poodle. So, at this point, the police had a DNA profile for the Zodiac. the other zodiac. So
The Wish Zodiac.
the wish. So now, all right. So now, in one of the zodiac letters, there's another clue left by the killer. So picture it, okay? It's a drawing of 9 towers with different symbols in them. So like, these just like
Are
kind of.
they zodiac symbols, or is it just like?
They look kind of hieroglyphic. Like I
Okay.
don't even I couldn't tell from like what I was looking at, but so like the 9 towers with different symbols, and I guess they deciphered that all of the symbols were representing each of his victims so far.
Got it.
So they had someone come in who was actually that code breaker we mentioned earlier during World War II,
Yes.
who could help break down the symbols and assist. And it was like a fucked up alphabet of sorts, I guess you could say, that he was helping figure out.
Okay.
So it turns out the alphabet being used, or at least his fucked up alphabet, was a maritime system of international flags and pendants, which
Okay.
maritime seafaring
Yeah.
type stuff.
So it sounds like it's like different sea symbols.
Yeah.
And flags
Yeah. So
from around the world.
yes.
That makes me think that, you know how he was like, he took a 2-year-long vacation from all of this.
Yeah.
I thought, well, maybe he got arrested for something else and did time for
Yeah.
2 years, and that's why. But now I'm thinking maybe he was in the military
Could be.
and he was away. I don't know what was going on in the 90s, but maybe
Wasn't
he
the
had
Gulf
to do.
War?
Oh,
Yeah. I think so.
there you go.
Wow.
Maybe he was in the Gulf War.
Yeah, I mean, that would make more sense because remember, they did have a thumbprint for him, but they put it through their system. And I mean, if someone were to be arrested, there would be a match at some point if he were arrested later because they already had the fingerprint from him, I guess, you know? Now, with this discovery, they were able to decipher the Zodiac's secret message.
Oh.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
It read as follows. This is the Zodiac speaking. I am in control. His mastery. Be ready for more. Yours truly. A man of few words, but I guess when you're using symbols, it probably takes a lot of time.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Also, the Gulf War was 91,
Oh, there you go.
so that would make sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll crack the case.
Yes.
did.
Mark's on the case.
Yeah, I'm coming for you.
I'm coming for you, Zodiac.
No.
Wish Zodiac.
No, which Zodiac? Please leave me alone.
I know. Well, you'll be fine. And
Stay far away.
yeah, we'll get it. We'll get into why everybody's going to be fine. So, now in March of 1996, even with the DNA from the envelope, the fingerprint, things still weren't moving forward towards catching the Zodiac until they did. So, this dude from Brooklyn, okay, was in his apartment when he got enraged that his sister and her boyfriend were alone in her bedroom together. So he demanded that the boyfriend leave. And when the boyfriend didn't leave his sister's bedroom, this guy got so mad that he fired a shot, I think from like a shotgun, through her bedroom door. So
Classy.
I
Wow.
know, a real class act. So when this guy's sister came out to confront him and say, like, you know, what the fuck, dude? The guy shot his sister in the ass with a shotgun.
It's not funny.
I know. I'm sorry. It's just my voice. I know. But so, you know, the police get there and realize that the guy is holding his sister's boyfriend hostage in their apartment
my
now.
God.
Was he like a Sagittarius or
I know. I see you. Yes, we're about to find out.
Pisces?
Yeah.
One of the other ones.
Yeah,
that we didn't get to.
exactly. So at this point, they send in a one Captain Herbert, who's a hostage negotiator. Yeah.
I've got all these negotiators on this case,
I
on this
know.
wish case.
But at this point, I know, keep in mind though that at this point, this is just some weird thing that's happening in Brooklyn. You
Did he
know,
bring his horoscope and was like,
did.
"It said on this day you're gonna get caught."
It's funny. Okay, see, you guys are coming up with very valid points. You should be on the Wish Zodiac's team
We should be.
of interpreters.
We're
you know?
quitting our jobs. We're going to be investigators.
Yes. I always said that if in another life I would work in like forensics or something with crime.
I think you're well, like you have a good, inner thing about it for sure. So like, all right, so Captain Herbert's there. He's like, hey girl, let me have the hostage back. So
Just like that.
Just like that.
Just like that.
Hey girl.
Hey girl, let me get that hostage. You're being weird.
Let me get that
hostage.
back.
Period.
Hand clap emoji.
Yeah, that's it. I'm pretty sure that's exactly how it went down. I don't have the transcript, but like I'm 99% sure.
Okay.
Okay, so like 3 hours later, old Herb, is like, finally gets him to fucking surrender. So the guy sends out all of his weapons, the windows, like he put it in a bucket and lowered the shit out, and like, so this gentleman who shot his sister in the ass and who Captain Herbert's like, his name is Eddie Seda. Now, Eddie is a 26-year-old high school dropout who is still living at home with his mom and sister. Cute, all about it, for it. It's fine, Eddie. Hey, Eddie. So, like, listen, everyone has a different situation. We're not judging, but don't also be a killer and shoot your sister. That's a no-no.
In the ass.
In the ass. I mean, really.
So wait, is Eddie Seda the wish?
You're gonna have to find out.
Killer?
I don't know yet.
Okay.
I don't know yet. I don't know.
Come on, I'm getting excited. I want to know.
I know. Isn't this thrilling? So, all right. So they have this guy, Eddie, in custody now. And they ask him to provide a written statement of like exactly what transpired in the apartment. So they're treating it like any other, like if Jen Wilson shot me in the ass, they would be like, Jen, okay, tell me why you did this. Like what the fuck's going on?
I mean, we have to do that at school with like the kids. Like if there's like an incident that goes down, the witness has to write what they saw.
Yeah.
And then the two people that were involved in the incident write too.
So I'd imagine that this is probably exactly like that. So, so at this point, he signs, he writes his little letter about what happened. Now, he signs his name with a very odd symbol next to it. Like, they're like, okay, this is weird. And now, when asked, Eddie said it was something about God and love or some shit. Like, something like, woo-woo.
Right.
So, but when the hostage negotiator, our good friend Herb, when he got to see the letter, he was like, oh yeah, fuck no. He was like, this dude's Zodiac killer. I recognize that. So now old Herb's back on the case. He's like, oh, I got the hostage. I just want to go home already. So now they're just like, you're the Zodiac because you drew this. So they can't just say that, and be like, call it a day. Book him. So they
Book him, Dano.
Book him, Dano. It's me, Herb. So they turn to forensic science.
Wow, the government actually used science to solve a problem.
Can you believe it?
Wow.
Well,
let's go back to the 90s.
I know. Well,
Jesus.
I mean, not
I'm
to
telling you, what did we say in the last episode? Like the 90s was the time
Yeah.
for crime.
Clap, period.
With the claps.
That's right.
The 90s had some really scandalous shit.
It really did.
I wonder why, like, the 90s was kind of fucked up.
Yeah. Well, but
But I
like,
kind of wish we could go back.
I know.
I
I feel like
miss the 90s.
the 70s and the 90s and the 60s maybe were kind of particularly
I
fucked
wonder
up.
if there was like a drug of choice going on, and I mean,
it's possible.
If I'm not mistaken, isn't that when like ecstasy came on the scene?
Yeah,
in the 90s?
yeah. That could be. I mean, listen, there has to be some sort of explanation for the excess of crazy.
Absolutely.
all the ravers.
All the ravers.
Hey, ravers.
So, all right, as we know, they turn to forensic science, and Herb's like, hey, so the first dude, Eddie, right, our man in question, he was fingerprinted. The print was compared to the print they had from the Zodiac letter.
The thumbprint.
Yes, exactly. And guess what? It was a match.
Oh my goodness. So let me guess what happened next. Did they make Eddie do a saliva test?
Oh my God. Well, we're getting there, but The next thing they did, saliva. So, you know, that's a good, those are great sound effects. So the next step in this procedure was they compared the handwriting from the Zodiac letters to the written statement they received about the apartment shooting / hostage situation that went down. The experts concluded that it was the same person's writing. As if, I mean, a fingerprint isn't enough, but, you know, let's keep going, right? So at this point, they call in a ballistics expert.
A ballistic?
Yes, which is like bullets and guns
Oh,
stuff.
okay. I was like ballistic, like go ballistic.
Yeah, I mean,
was thinking ballistic, like ballpoint pen.
Well, kind of. BALL.
I didn't know there was such thing as a ballistic
I mean,
scientist.
Marrakesh.
Marrakesh is in France.
Listen,
Yeah.
Morocco is in France.
Morocco.
Marrakesh is in Egypt.
The ballpoint pen factory is in France, which is in Morocco.
Everything in this world is French.
Oh my god. So, all right, now here's a fucking weird element. This dude, when he was shooting his victims, he was using a very particular kind of gun, which is called
How particular?
like homemade. So it was,
So it
Like
was
a
a
BB,
wish.
like
yeah,
a
he was
like
literally
like
a wish.
BB gun,
Kind
like
of.
a Red Rider BB gun.
Yeah.
A wish gun.
A wish gun. So, okay, so I don't know how to.
This guy probably used like rubber bands to shoot people.
Well, I
Yeah.
mean, it kind of looked like a rubber band gun.
I used to have one.
Those are funny.
Pa-pow.
Pa-pow. So, I mean, if you guys want to look it up, you're more than welcome to. But, I mean, the type of gun it was called, he had a collection of 15 zip guns. I made a note here that said, never heard of that shit, and they look weird. And they do.
What's a zip gun?
Why don't we look it up? We'll take a moment.
So this zip gun, I just looked it up. It's known as an improvised firearm.
Yes,
And
he
the
had
one
15 of them.
The one picture I was looking at was put together with duct tape.
Oh.
Yeah. So they were, so as Jen just said, you know, like if that description is perfect. They were pretty.
So, and I'm sure that's probably why these people survive.
I mean, it's like not funny. I mean, we're glad
Wait,
they
did-
survived,
did
obviously.
any of them die?
Yes.
Which the cancer sign, the homeless man.
I
probably.
believe he did.
Of course.
But
rooting for him.
so now with the ballistics expert being involved and, you know, realizing that like, cause the bullets that he was using were very weird. And that was like one of the hallmarks of like what he was doing. They were like,
Right.
these are fucking weird. What is this? So now in one of the Zodiac's letters, he had stated that his guns didn't have a traditional lands and grooves inside for testing. So that was him trying to be like, oh, ha, 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 you're never going to catch me because these are homemade and you're not going to find out which bullet I use, that type of thing.
Okay. And let me guess, they confiscated all of them
Oh, hell yeah, they did.
and went in and found the bullet.
Was the bullet a rubber band?
I mean, they looked like they were made of rubber, honestly. Now, our little Zodiac from Wish.com, he didn't take into account the element of what you would call tool markings, which basically means how the metal / bullets were polished. Finally, you know, after that, good old-fashioned blood DNA. His blood sample matched the saliva from the envelope. So they're pretty much like, God, old Herb got the hostage. This is a lot of shit. Now, ironically, we're reaching the end of this, okay? The Zodiac stated in early letters that only when Orion and the Seven Sisters could stop him.
Can I just take a wild guess that they caught him when Orion and the Seven Sisters appeared in the sky?
Well, hold on. Are you ready? So,
Please tell
waiting
me.
for it.
Please tell me that is what happened.
so, on the day of his sister's murder, Orion and the Seven Sisters were overhead. They just weren't visible in the overcast sky.
Oh, how
Oh.
cosmic. But was his sister murdered or just shot in the ass?
Apparently, I think she died.
From that?
I believe so. It was probably at a closer range.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
What was her sign?
I don't know,
I
but
wonder if it was like
well,
one that he needed.
well, to kind of go back and like answer another part of your question. So Eddie Seda was charged with the shooting of 6 people and killing 3 others.
Oh, wow.
So he made it up to 9 people in total.
I just read that he idolized Ted Bundy, so it kind of makes sense.
Oh, so good old Eddie Sades, he received 232 years in prison, obviously. I mean, hello.
Good.
Now, the question still remains how the Zodiac knew his victims' birthdays. Some think he looked in the victims' wallets after each shooting, and that all the different signs were simply luck. And other than that, we just might never know. And that's the story of Eddie Seda, the Wish.com Zodiac Killer.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you think maybe he could have just gone up to someone and been like, hey, what's your birthday?
I mean, it's a possibility, but wouldn't somebody have
Like,
been
cancer
like,
sign? Boom.
I know. Oh, my lucky day. Boom, boom.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I wish I'd play the lotto. Yeah.
What was his sign?
I don't know.
Oh, we'll never know.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's the story, and I'm sticking to it.
Wow.
That was...
What'd you think? Did you like it?
I love that.
I loved it.
It's fun.
I think we need to do this more often where we just don't
Excite
reveal-
each other.
Excite
Yeah.
each other.
I love that.
Oh, good. I know. I heard about this, and I was like, what? Because I remember I woke up because I normally keep like cold case files on when I'm sleeping because it soothes my
Of
soul.
course you do.
You know I
That's
do.
all 3 of
or
us
forensic
do.
files, one of the two. And, you know, I remember hearing something Zodiac, and I was just like, oh, God, whatever. Another thing about that old 60s Zodiac. Get over it. Nobody cares anymore. San Francisco, listen.
She's tired.
She's tired. She's old. She's outdated. But then I was listening more, and I was like, what the fuck is this? What? So,
Well,
yeah.
I've never heard of this.
No, me neither.
Yeah.
Other Zodiac, the East Coast Zodiac
The
Killer.
Wish Zodiac
Wish
Killer.
Zodiac
I
Killer.
know. I mean, like, really, like, San Francisco Zodiac at least had, like, a whole getup. You
I
know?
know.
He was more menacing. This
Well,
guy had
I
a
mean,
zip
when
gun.
when you're 23 and you're a high school dropout and you're home, maybe
Yeah. I mean,
you're bored. I don't know. I mean, but I wouldn't go on a killing spree if I dropped out of high school.
I really thought he was in the military,
yeah. I
but
mean,
I could be wrong.
I mean, he could have just read a bunch of books.
yeah. Yeah.
He probably, there was this book that we used to read in high school. It was called The Anarchist Cookbook.
Oh, yeah.
And it was like a banned book, but it told you how to do like things like how to make a pipe bomb or how to make, you know, a drug out of a marker. Like in
In Catholic school.
In Catholic school, I know.
it was, well, like it was something that like circulated on the internet.
Oh, okay.
It was like a PDF
I
file.
thought it was like something the nuns pulled out and was like, okay, everybody, we're going to be reading this.
No.
The one nun who
It
was
was like a teenager-y thing, but
Oh,
like
okay.
sometimes like someone would print it out and be like, hey, let's read this, it's bad. And then you would read it and you're like, oh my God, I feel so bad.
Wow.
Oh, God. Well, I mean, I guess at this point we should acknowledge our new listeners.
Yes.
Malaysia, South Korea, Argentina.
Okay.
Yeah, so hello to all of
Hi.
you.
Hi guys,
Welcome.
thank you. I wonder what propelled them to listen to us.
I don't know.
Oh, well, if you guys are listening to this episode, which I hope you are, why don't you like give us a comment on Instagram or a message or a smoke signal if you wish. Wish.
At Bizarre Buffet.
At Bizarre Buffet on Instagram and Facebook is Bizarre Buffet Podcast.
No,
And then-
it's
No.
just Bizarre Buffet, Mark.
Bizarre, whatever. It's fine.
And we have a Patreon if you're feeling generous, and
That's
that's
right.
Bizarre Buffet.
Yes, it is. So, don't be Eddie Seda. Don't try to kill the 12 signs of the astrological world. You know, be good. Be good.
Be good.
Yeah.
And don't share your birthday.
Yes, don't share your birthday. Don't
Please
show anyone
don't.
your driver's
Exactly.
license unless it's, you know, like to buy cigarettes. So,
Yeah.
my name is the Wish Zodiac Killer.
My name is Orion.
Are you?
And I'm Walter Mercado.
Oh,
Jazzy.
okay.
Wow. It's just me and Orion out here.
I was hoping you were one of the seven sisters.
Of the Pleiades.
No, I'm the Zodiac Oracle that wears beautiful capes.
Of
Great.
course.
Love it.
Just like a Cancer sign. Oh, God. All right. Well, God bless. Do Satan's work.
Bye.
Bye.